The 739th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code MMA SGPN and get a 50% deposit bonus of up to $1,000.
Howdy ho, degenerinos. Welcome to episode 739 of the MMA Gambling Podcast and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, dedicated to Party Joe Pinfield, who I just discovered is a thing yesterday. So this goes out to you. I hear he pulled out of a fight on an event that we may have covered. So sadly, we won't get to talk to him or talk about him organically. So I'll talk about him now. This is not a Party Joe episode, sadly, but we're gonna have fun anyhow. It's Aries FC, which we have covered a few times. The top French promotion. They're actually running quite frequently now, which is great for us since we get 3 regional events into your orifices every week. So they have an event coming up. So we are covering it because that's the way we roll. This is a big event too. This is a pretty stacked fight card, at least from my my amateur eyes here. Who am I? I'm the Canadian capitalist, Jeff Fox, and we're talking about Aries FC 28. Not doing it alone. I have someone who actually is not just going to topology cap these fights like I would do. He actually does the research. He watches fights. He's got boots on the ground. It's the one and only Gamble Responsibly, aka the man on the left.
Yeah, I'm interested in whether or not this fight card will really deliver. Because to your point, it's got 3 title fights, and you're like, well, it's got to be good. And then one of those title fights, at least, is like, what are we doing here? And I don't mean to throw shade. It's an interim title fight for the heavyweight title, and then like the A side
style.
And then the A side of that title fight backed out. I don't know if you remember, we've broken down Kakapur quite a few times. The Polish fighter, he was supposed to be probably the A side of that interim title fight, and he had to pull out of this. So like, you're getting a replacement fighter and a French guy without a great record. Yeah, it's just maybe it's 3 title fights. We're gonna say it's 3 title fights, but then like,
yeah. But we have a husband-wife duo going back to back.
You do,
too,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
I was wondering if you caught that. And actually, I didn't necessarily know that because until I started trying to find film on Lynne, Lessou. And it is damn near impossible to find film on Lynne Lessou. If you are like me and you're a film watcher before you place bets, go ahead and do some Google searches for Lynne Carmen's fights, because you're gonna find quite a few more bits of film on Lynne Carmen than you are on Lynne Lessou.
Yes. Yeah, I figured same last name, and they don't look alike. So I figured,
they do not. They do not.
I figured probably married, probably not brother sister, or it could be adoption, I guess. Anyhow. So yeah, Gumby is usually it's the other way around. I am the rain on the picnic, the rain on the parade, and you're the one that's like, no, it's a good fight card. It's the other way around this time. I said, oh, this.
I mean, there are fights that we will watch, and that's cool.
Yeah, that's true. It's another UFC Fight Pass promotion as well, right?
Yeah. Aries usually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think they're. Yeah, I think I've seen them out there. Yeah, UFC Fight Pass. All right, before we jump into that, like I need to remind you, it's playoff time in the NFL. And of course, the place to be is the Sports Gambling Podcast, because they've got all your NFL picks and props. So check out the bosses on the Sports Gambling Podcast. And now check back to us. Aries FC. What number are we up to? 28. Solo versus Caio. Not Calbahio, though. Go down to Nice, France, the 18th of January. That would be a Saturday by my math here, 1 p.m. Eastern. So this can lead you right up until the UFC pay-per-view that evening. So perfect. We got you Thursday and Friday events covered already. Now we are going to get you covered for Saturday over the next 3 days. So UFC Fight Pass, like we said, 1 p.m. Eastern start time. Like I said, Palais Nicae in Nice, France, in a cage, 11 fights. We're going to break down basically half of them in full, and then we'll give you some lightning rounds. So you're going to get picks for more than half of the fight card. That we can promise you. No odds for this yet, but Aries is the promotion you get odds for at the books.
They show up.
So they show up. All right, we are starting with 155-pound fight. Yazid Chouchane from France. Danillo Santos from Brazil, 3 5-minute rounds, 155. Santos is quadrada, which translates to square. He should be a fighting nerd then. Is he a fighting nerd? If he's a square, he should be a nerd as well.
I think it has to do with his physique.
Yeah, he's pretty boxy.
Yeah, he's a boxy guy.
It could be Chris Curtis's nickname as well then.
When
I was watching him fight in the week, I'm like, yeah, he's especially with the hair. All right, Quadrada Santos is 10-1. 1 knockout, 5 submissions. He's been submitted once. This is his debut in Aries. He's won 5 straight. However, he's not fought since December 2023. He's not lost since March 2020. He's a regional champ. He used to fight at 170. 5 years younger than Chouchane, 4 inches taller. Chouchane is 10-5 with 2 knockouts. Been knocked out twice, submitted once. This is his debut as well in Aries. He's lost 2 straight. Before that, he won 3 straight. Both of his past 2 losses have come via finish. He went 1-2 in the PFL. He's fight at welterweight as well. 2012 pro MMA debut.
I think Danilo Santos is probably going to be a slight favorite. I'm going to say like -150, like +130 on the return for Chouchane. And I'm going to go with Santos. I really like his submission game. I do worry a little bit about him striking in this case. I think he will hold his own grappling wise. Chouchane is a guy who like muscles his takedowns kind of a lot anytime he's looking for one. And I think with just as crafty as Santos is in his jiu-jitsu game, he shouldn't really have any problem with that. And even if Chouchane takes him down, I think he's going to have like Santos is it his only loss? I think it's
yes.
Santos, yeah. His only loss is Bojan Filicevic up at 170. And I watched that fight too. I mean, like he's in on heel hooks on Filicevic. Like he threatens him a whole bunch of times from the bottom. He uses his submissions to like get on top once in a while. Like it's a pretty damn good fight with a guy who's UFC caliber up a weight class, and that's his only loss. So like I don't worry about his grappling against Chouchane. And the other thing I will say too is just that like the Santos does get caught on his heels once in a while. Like he forgets to pressure, or when the other guy pressures, he worries too much. But I don't really worry about Chouchane like letting go enough to like win in that way. He's not like a volume guy. He's not a guy, he's more of like a load up guy, which is, similar to the way that he grapples. He grapples with a lot of muscle. He strikes with a lot of muscle. And in this case, I just think Santos is the fact that he's a touch tentative on the feet, I think will actually play well for him. And then anytime there's grapples, I like Santos a lot. I actually wouldn't be surprised. And granted, we're not going to ever see props on this most likely. But if we did, I would really like Santos by submission. I think some point in time in this fight, he probably catches him on the mat. So give me Danilo Santos.
What number did you say for him again?
I think I said like -150-ish. Okay. Yeah, that's where I would guess. Favorite, but like not a big one.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, let's move on to one of the husband-wife duo, Lynne, Lessou, Carmen, Karman.
Yeah. So if you're trying to find film, just make sure you're looking for Lynne Carman, Carman.
Nope. You spelled it totally wrong. Karmann.
2 N's?
You butchered it. That's right.
Lynne
Lessou. Yeah, 2 N's. Yeah,
at
least according to Tapology. I'm not personal friends with her, so I don't know. She's fighting Shamara Braga from Brazil. Lessou is from France. And we're going to break her down, shall we? We shall. We're going to tell you about Braga first. 4-3. No finishes for her. Four decision wins. She's been finished herself once via knockouts. She also has a finisher too. This is her debut in Aries. Won 3 of her last 4, including her last fight. Used to fight at 125 and 135. This is some weird weight class called featherweight for women's. Strange. An inch of height, 3 years younger than Lessou. Maybe the UFC should get that weight class. What do you think? It'd be a good one, right? 145?
It wouldn't.
There'd be so much talent up there. Lessou. Yeah. Lessou is 2-0. That rhymes as well. With 1 knockout. Both those fights taking place in Aries. Used to fight at 155. I assume that's all I have. I assume there's some kind of amateur or something in the background here, right? Or some other discipline or something. She's not just
for who?
For Lessou. She's not just like some newbie, or is she?
No. And she's got some amateur fights in there, and looks like she's fought a bunch before. I think she maybe does not some kickboxing, maybe some Thai boxing or something like that. But I think she's going to be a big favorite here. Braga's got all those losses on her record. Obviously that doesn't look good. She's the hometown French fighter. That's going to look better for her as well. And also just in general from the stylistic standpoint. So I'm going to say like -250 for Lessou. And from the stylistic standpoint, I'm going to say Lessou, I'm not sold on her as a prospect just because I don't like I don't like how it feels like she doesn't commit and extend on her punches. Like everything feels like it's kind of pulled slightly. It seems in general like she's got kind of like a problem committing coming forward. But actually, I think this is the perfect opponent to try to solve that, because Braga, if you've watched her, she is a Muay Thai fighter or a kickboxer, and as well as having fought in MMA. And you said it, no finishes. And there's the perfect reason why. She stands straight up and down. She doesn't sit into her punches at all. It is only her arms throwing them 9 times out of 10, and her chin's up in the air. So like Lessou is going to be able to march her down. I think Braga is like used to being way taller than people too, because she is 5'9", which is, maybe not super tall for featherweight, but I think she's fought some bantamweight fights in there. But Lessou will be just as tall and have all the same reach. I think it will make Lessou feel like she can come forward more, because her opponent is kind of stationary, not sitting on her punches. I don't think it will hurt getting hit by her. And then the other thing I noticed about Braga in one of the kickboxing fights I saw her in, she got hit with one punch, and all of a sudden she just like kept turning all the time as the punches were coming, basically like she was afraid of getting hit again. So it seems like Braga doesn't like getting hit. We need Lessou to sit down on one of her strikes, maybe get full extension on one of them. And I think from there, she will just continue to dominate. So give me Lynne Lessou, probably a decent sized favorite.
All right. Let's move on to an ad read. How about? What are we going to tell you about? DraftKings playoffs. We're talking about playoffs. You bet we are. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the playoffs, and you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings, the number one place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your bet? Your first bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. But obviously, it's not just NFL at DraftKings. They got, if you're in MMA, which I'm assuming you are, if you're paying attention to us, they got lines. Lots and lots of lines. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SGP. Let's go to SGP for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Now my friend will tell you some stuff.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Thank you, sir. See yourself out, and we'll see you again tomorrow. All right, now we're breaking down the other half of the husband-wife duo, Xavier Lessou. He is fighting for the AFC Interim Heavyweight Championship. Xavier Lessou from Cameroon. His photo, he's with Mr. Cyril Gahn. He's fighting Paweł Biernat from Poland. 5-5-minute round, so hopefully it goes all 5, right? 265. Biernat. Do you know his nickname gonna be?
Is it Wolverine?
Yes, it's Kizadzki Rosomak, which is like, I guess, the name of the place he's from, and Wolverine.
Yeah, I knew it was Wolverine. I think he's got like a Wolverine emblem on his shirts that he wears sometimes.
Oh, okay, cool. He is 5-1 with 2 no contests, 3 knockouts, 1 submission. Never been finished in a fight. He's taking this fight on short notice. He's fought once in Aries and got a no contest. 1-1 with 2 no contests over his last 4 fights. Won his last fight though via TKO. 0-1 as a pro kickboxer. 20 pounds heavier than Lessou based on the weigh-in results that we have for these guys in previous fights. Lessou is 4-2, 1 knockout, 2 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. 3-1 in Aries. He's won 4 straight, 2 straight via finish. He's not lost a fight since July 2022. An inch taller than Biernat.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a closely lined fight. Neither of these guys have a particularly nice looking record, right? Lessou, 4-2. You got Biernat at like, what did you say he was? But it was ugly.
5-1 with 2 no contests.
Yeah, 2 no contests in there. And one of those he lost and it got overturned from an illegal kick. So I know he's got like basically more losses on his record. So I think the line will probably be close. If anything, Biernat coming in on short notice, probably a little bit of a dog. And I'm going to go with Biernat here. I think Lessou in general, just like, I don't trust his takedown defense. In his last fight, he got taken down like 300 times, wound up on his back a bunch. And I think ultimately he just won by his own grappling when his opponent got tired. And I don't think he'll be able to do that to Biernat. I don't think he'll be able to just outwork him when he starts to get tired, because Biernat, when he lands on the feet, he just piles it on. He's going to hit you with 700 punches before you hit the ground. I think he's going to be stronger. He's probably definitely going to, well, not probably, definitely. He's going to be much better in the clinch and with takedowns than Lessou is. Yeah, I don't really know Lessou's path to victory here. I mean, maybe hope Biernat's big muscles tire out, but ultimately, I think Biernat's a much better fighter everywhere. And I think only the short notice piece will probably keep this close, along with neither of their records looking sharp. So hopefully you get a nice line on Biernat, and he is a guy who I like quite a bit.
Did you say a line? I didn't hear a line.
I said pick him.
A pick him, perfect.
Or maybe slight dog on Biernat.
Even better. What do the Tapology people say, Gumby? They say Biernat 48%. So yeah, pick him.
Oh,
also 52. Yeah. So right in the pick 'em range for you. All right, we are up to the. I didn't ask you why it's interim. Why is it interim, Gumby?
Abubakar Bothely, I believe, is the champ there. I don't know, maybe he's hurt, but I'm pretty sure it's Bothely who's the champ in Aries now.
Co-main event is for the FC vacant featherweight championship. Gumby, why is it vacant?
Who is? No, I'm trying to think of who's French in the UFC now, but I can't think of anybody.
That's fine. Josh O'Connor is fighting for it. He's from Wales. Azize Hlali, from, or is it just Hlali? Do you know?
I think you got to say the H.
Azize Hlali. He's from France. 5-5-minute rounds, 145. So featherweight. The magician is Hlali. 2-0 with 2 knockouts. Both his fights have taken place in Aries. He was his rounds. He used to fight at 145. Actually, this one is 145. I must have meant used to fight at bantamweight more than likely. 1-6 as a pro Muay Thai fighter, so he's doing a bit better in the MMA. 0-2 as a pro kickboxer, an inch of height over O'Connor. O'Connor is 8-0, 4 knockouts, 2 submissions, 1-0 in Aries, 1-0 Bellator, 1-0 in PFL. He's fought at 155, 8 years younger than Hlali.
So you got to imagine with those records and stuff, Connor's going to be a huge fave. We'll say -350. I am going to sprinkle on the underdog here. I will take the 2-0 Azize Hlali here in the co-main event. My guess is north of 300. And the reason being is Josh Connor, semi-decent low leg kicks, decent body lock takedowns, strong grappler, very strong grappler. That's pretty much how he's made his hay all along, is he is a guy who gets guys to the ground, takes their back, works with a tough grappling game. Hlali couldn't be more different. He comes from a Muay Thai kickboxing background and has absolutely electric on the feet. Now, is he terrible on the mat? I don't know. Never seen anybody actually take him down. The last guy who got close to him in the last profile got close enough to eat a right hand, and it was over. He slept this guy. So for me, what I'm just counting on here in terms of this play is at 3-1, he's infinitely a better striker than Josh O'Connor. He is, I mean, we are talking about a skill gap that is very wide here on the feet. And at 3-1, which is what I'm guessing this comes in at, why not sprinkle on that? Because right now we don't actually know what the grappling gap looks like, right? We know O'Connor is good on the mat. We know he's got good body locks. His double could use a little bit of work. I'm not quite sold on that yet, but I don't know how Hlali defends a takedown. If he winds up being adequate at defending a takedown, or hey, maybe his footwork is just so good that he stays away from O'Connor needing to be a takedown. Maybe O'Connor just plays with his food a little bit too much on the feet to start. If any of those things are true, Hlali at plus 300 is going to look absolutely silly. It's going to look crazy. So this is a guy with a big advantage and a clear path to victory here. And I think you're going to see him as a massive underdog. So give me Hlali here. I like sprinkling on that kind of underdog.
You might get it even higher than that because only 8% of people on Tapology are picking him. So
yeah, I mean, he's 2-0 against an 8-0 prospect who's fought in PFL. So yeah, maybe he comes in at plus 500. But I'm telling you, if you've ever watched film of this guy throwing, you wouldn't have only 8% on him. There would be more people on him than that.
Yeah, you Tapology cappers. All right, before we move on to, hey, you did it again, Gumby.
I know it. I noticed
it's not on purpose either.
No, it's not. Totally not on purpose.
He picked an underdog, and now I'm going to tell you about Underdog Pick'em. 3 episodes in a row, at the very least, you've done this. Underdog Pick'em is one of the biggest menus for all sports. Underdog is always making it easier to win with profit boosts and gimme pick'ems. Underdog Playoff Best Ball is now live. The Gauntlet Tournament has $2 million in prizes up for grabs for just a $25 entry. NFL, college football, college basketball, MMA, NBA, NASCAR, and more. They got it all. You can now use specials and boosts in all flex entries. Company's going to give you a play you can make right now.
Yeah, so it is Tuesday at the time of you hearing this. I'm going to take the higher than on Isaiah Hartenstein's rebounds. He's seemingly putting up some pretty decent rebound numbers with Chet Holmgren out, and they're playing the 76ers, and who knows what's happening in the front court of the 76ers right now. Once in a while, they have a center. Once in a while, they have 2 centers. Once in a while, they have no centers. So give me the higher than on Isaiah Hartenstein's rebounds.
More often than not, Paul George has been playing center for them.
Yeah, I know. It's really weird.
How rough things are there. What's not weird is using our code, so we both benefit. That would be MMA. No, what's our code? MMA SGPN. Yes.
MMA SGPN. Yeah,
yeah. I sometimes get confused because our Twitter is the other way around. But yes, we're MMA. MMA SGPN. To claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. It's underdogfantasy.com. Promo code MMA. SGPN. SGPN has partnered up with America's ultimate social casino, Stake.us. Stake.us is a free-to-play social casino available in most states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. All your favorite games are there, and even you can even play with live dealers. Use the promo code SGPN, sign up, and you get 250,000, 250K. It says I would believe that means 250,000 gold coins, which can be used for the free-to-play games, and $25 stake cash, which can be played with and redeemed for real cash. Stake.us promo code SGPN and Stake.us promo code SGPN. All right, someone's going to be happy after the main event. Whoever wins the championship, the AFC Lightweight Championship is up for grabs. Axel Sola, the current champion from France, versus Lucas Caio from Brazil. 5-minute rounds. And we'll tell you about Caio. Arona is the nickname. 12-5, 5 knockouts, 5 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. This is his debut. Stepping right into a title fight. He's won 6 straight fights, all via finish. He's not lost a fight since August 2016. He is a regional champion. He used to fight at 145, and he made his debut in 2011. And Hlali used to fight at 155. I was incorrect in the last breakdown. In case that is going to change anyone's picks. Sola, 8-0-1. 4 knockouts, 1 submission, 3-0-1 in areas. He's the champ. He's defended it twice already successfully. Once was a draw, once was a win. TKO win in his last fight. Used to fight at 170. 7 years younger than Cow, an inch of height. I love how I'm saying that. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to take Sola here. I think he's going to be a big favorite. We'll say like -250. His range management is just, that's what makes him a fun prospect here. I don't know how well Aries has locked him down. This seems like a contender series guy. Really good range management. He's a southpaw, which, obviously throws some people off. The quickness in his hands is really legit. And maybe I don't love his takedown defense yet, but what he does really nicely is he attacks. If somebody gets a back body lock on him, he winds up with a Kimura, and then he uses that to stand up or to break the grips. So he uses submissions to get himself out of wrestling positions. And that to me, when you're still developing the rest of your anti-wrestling game, is it's a pretty good sign. I think he's starting to figure it out. And luckily he's fighting Cow, who is not a guy who has a big wrestling game. He's a guy who wants to go in there and brawl. He throws from the hips. He throws really big. He does have some pretty solid power. I could see some fluky knockouts in his past, but he winds up, isn't afraid to let go, all that kind of stuff. And I just think that's not a good thing against a guy who controls range as well as Sola does. Sola's a guy who, like I said, light on his feet, in and out of range, hits you with a couple of quick shots and gets the hell out of there. And that's a nightmare for a guy who wants to wind up and brawl a little bit. So give me Axel Sola. I'm guessing, in the -250 kind of range. Wouldn't be surprised if it pushed higher than that come fight time. This is one of those ones where I think the line will probably get worse as time goes.
All right. Let's give you a recap, but don't you go away yet. Gummy's got more picks for you. Sola, Hlali, Biernat, Lessou, the female Lessou, and Santos. So he's got some dogs in there for you, hopefully. At least a couple. All right. Lightning rounds. That Bam Boom Pow.
Yeah, so I got 2 0-0 fighters for my lightning round here, but guys who I know about. So the first one is Dion Abdoulaye. So that's spelled Abdoulaye, Abdoulaye. And he's an 0-0 fighter, but if you watch any of his regional career, the guy's got like 700 guillotines. It is an absurd amount of guillotines that this guy has. And he, first of all, you got to love a guy who's got a finish that he believes in. And second of all, he's fighting a guy who I think will fall into that. The other one I'm going to get in on, and this one I'm way more confident on. I love Danny Hartwell. He's 0-0 and he's fighting a 1-0 guy. So if you can get a good line on Danny Hartwell, power to you. But this is an IMMAF guy. And he lost in the finals this past year to Kerry Miller, who is maybe the best amateur prospect at heavyweight right now. So like no shame in that whatsoever. And the year prior in IMMAF, he lost in the semifinals to the guy who beat Kerry Miller in the finals. So like he's lost back-to-back to the IMMAF finalists or champions. So like he's mixing it up with the best. And the fight with Kerry Miller was really competitive. So I like Danny Hartwell. I think he's a fun prospect. I love that he's going pro right now. And I think in his fight, you're going to see a guy who's a grinder and a nice puncher. So give me Danny Hartwell. Give me Dion Abdoulaye as my 2 lightning round picks.
There you go. Gummy's doing the work. He's checking out regional amateur guys, for crying out loud. All right. We did the work for you. Now you're all set for UAE Warriors Thursday and Friday. Now you're all set for Aries on Saturday early afternoon if you're on the East Coast. And then tomorrow and the next day will be all about UFC. Tomorrow will be UFC 311 prelims, and then the next day, which would be a Thursday, UFC 311 main card, locks, dogs, props, and either a parlay or a round robin. We shall see. In the meantime, we shall be in the Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. We shall be on YouTube, MMA Gambling Podcast on YouTube. Twitter is SGPN MMA. He's at Gumby Vreeland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer there and on Instagram. Check out my Substack, moneymma.substack.com. At the very least, enter my pick'em contest because you can win stuff for free. Gummy's got Top Turtle MMA podcast. Carlos Diego Fejea is on it. And who else is on it?
Alvin Goozy Hines.
Right, the Goose. So check that out, Goozy. And of course, sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. We'll be back, as I said, tomorrow. The magician Jeff Fox, the Western Mass Wolverine Gumby Vreeland. And we'll talk to you then.